Alright, let's talk about the first chapter and how it's gonna go. So I watched the first episode, honestly I watched the first 3 episodes, and I noticed that a lot of it is just world building and she's talking to NPCs. So the way I'm gonna kind of go about this is that the Bait House is literally just a group of girls who are living together normally. Like it's not like a accidental prostitute house, we're not doing that. We're gonna have it where like Emily has an actual library, and Aphmau is looking for a place to stay, and she just goes to the library, because that seems like a good idea. Which irritates Emily because obviously like she's staying behind the library and she's basically like moved into the library, whatever. I am trying to figure out how I want like to go about the whole like Aphmau my lord thing, because obviously like in the story itself, she is building the town, doing the farming, getting the animals, talking to NPCs, bringing new NPCs in, and doing all of this like extra work that is quite literally Minecraft gameplay, such as like building and like mining. And Varys does make a mention, and so does Zenix, and Zenix is like, if you do all this, you're going to be the Lord. But it's obviously going to be difficult to translate to like human. Like I personally do not own a pickaxe, and I cannot go like mine some stone and rebuild the stairs of my apartment complex. Can't do that. So, or not easily. So I think I'm just gonna have her to where she's like helping out villagers and trying to find like a job. Instead of just finding like one job, she's gonna do like all the jobs and be just a really big help and basically establish herself as like a very helpful individual. So that's my first thought. And also the very intro of it being like Vlad breaking down the tree and everything. I'm obviously like, or maybe Zenix breaking down the tree. I don't really remember who it was. I'm gonna have to go back and look. But I'm also not going to like, I'm just gonna describe what they look like because we don't need the name at the very beginning. They're not even breaking down the tree. We're just gonna show the person. The person is gonna somehow telekinesis, be like, follow me. And obviously Aphmau's gonna be like, sure. It's also gonna be first person. Because technically Diaries is done first person, considering that Aphmau is like answering as herself, responding as herself. So in the story, we are Aphmau. So I think that's just gonna make the most sense, because also Aphmau talks to herself a lot and you hear her thoughts. So my best bet is to just utilize that first person narrative that she has going on, and just not do anything third person, because I feel like for the sake of my sanity, it would be easier just to do it the first person. And then also, this is something that I think Aphmau kind of forgot in her own. It's called Minecraft Diaries because she has a diary. So, and it's mentioned because of Minecraft Diaries' origins, she talks about how she wrote a diary for every single day. So I'm going to kind of like make a diary entry every now and then, just so we can kind of do a recap of what the hell is just going on, because a lot of it has a lot of, that's where I think most of her like lore like spaces or her plot holes are, is because she has just forgotten to add this extra information and she kind of expects us to know it, because maybe she knows it but she doesn't say it to us. So in order to fill those plot holes, I'm going to create a diary entry where she's writing out her thoughts. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do to create the diary aspect. These are my thoughts so far as I'm trying to write down my notes. I'm going to try to go watch 10 episodes, write some notes, and then go from there. I don't have a straight episode per chapter, 10 episodes per chapter. I don't have any straight like that. We're just going to write until I feel like it needs to be a break, write until we feel like it needs to be a break, based off of my notes. Because Diaries isn't done, like each episode isn't like a day, a week. Like it's done kind of weirdly. So those are kind of my thoughts so far for how we're starting this off. If anybody has any other ideas, please let me know. I'm more than happy to listen and take some ideas. We're literally 3 episodes in. I've taken notes. Starting to get a headache, so I had to go get myself a little something to eat. So here we go.